It was just an ongoing battle of putting out fires every day. Wake up most mornings feeling like I'm 3 hours behind. It's stressful. It can be unpleasant. It's how we ran the business forever. Everything was sort of done off the cuff, reaction. It was all reactionary. Everything we did was reactionary.
Hey, welcome to the Construction Leading Edge podcast from constructionleadingedge.com. My name is Todd Dawalt. That's spelled Dawalt. I'm your host. And here at Construction Leading Edge, we're all about helping construction business owners have more freedom, more impact, and more wealth by systematizing your construction business. Think self-managing company, a business that runs without you. Here's what you're going to get from this interview with Eric Brownson, owner of Sweet Homes, a luxury home builder in Summit County, Colorado. He sat down with our director of customer success, Leyah Hostetter, recently. And Eric talks about how he used to wake up in the morning and he felt 3 hours behind. Talks about when he realized that he needed to get out of reaction mode and what he did about it, how he thought he used to live on an island, not literally, but figuratively thought he lived on an island as a construction business owner, and the light bulb moment that he had, what he used to think was normal about owning a construction business, and how that has changed, his experience going through our Systematize Your Construction Business program, which we refer to as SYCB. And Eric also talks about what's different now in his business and his life now that he has systematized his construction business. So without further ado, let's get to this conversation with Eric Brownson and our Director of Customer Success, Leyah Hostetter. Enjoy.
Eric Brownson, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing a bit with me about your SYCB experience. Before we dive in, would you share a little bit about yourself, your business, maybe share where you're located and the size of your business?
I grew up in New York, went to college in Vermont, and moved out to Colorado shortly after leaving college in 1988. Started Sweet Homes in 1993. Well, technically maybe 1992, actually. I think we incorporated in 93 and developed Sweet Homes from a framing contracting business up into a general contracting business. By the late 90s, we were fully into the general contracting scene, and the business for many years bounced around from 3 to 5 guys, maybe doing $2 to $4 million a year. And then we got through the big crunch. We're based in Silverthorne, Colorado, Summit County, we're Breckenridge, Keystone, Vail, all the good ski areas are. By 2008-9, we were chugging along pretty good, bouncing up more to $4 and $5 million a year when the economy crunched us back down. That was a little painful, but we stayed with it. We stuck through it and came out the other side bigger and stronger and better. And the company has been growing ever since, really. And we've been, probably in the $6 to $7 million a year range the last few years, and we are projected to exceed 10 million here in the next couple of years. So
wow, that's fantastic. Quite a growth structure there. That's amazing. And obviously in those areas, you're building high-end luxury homes.
Yes, high-end luxury homes, mostly second and third or fourth homes on occasion, but we do build occasionally for people that are moving here full-time, and the crews really love getting involved in those projects, even though they're smaller, generally smaller and less expensive homes. It's super fun to build, for local people that you're going to see every day and on the ski hill or at the grocery store. That's pretty cool too.
Awesome. Well, very cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Now, you recently wrapped up the SYCB program, and so we're going to dive into a little bit to your experience there. But before we do, let's backtrack a little bit. Back 3 or 4 months ago, before you started this program, and maybe even before that, tell me some of the problems that you were having that led you to find and join this program.
It was just an ongoing battle of putting out fires every day. You'd wake up in the morning, and I always tell my wife, I'd wake up most mornings feeling like I'm 3 hours behind, before I get out of bed. And there's only so long you can really tolerate that lifestyle. It's stressful. It can be unpleasant, but it's how we ran the business forever. I was sort of the backstop. We took as much work as we thought we could do. Everything was sort of done off the cuff, reaction. It was all reactionary. Everything we did was reactionary. And ultimately, the realization came, and it came probably 3 years ago, that I needed to be out of the reactionary business and really get into being proactive or preactive. And and find a way. And I just couldn't. I mean, I knew a lot of the things that had to happen. I didn't know how to make them happen. And I didn't have the time or the energy or the really brain power to figure out how to put it all together. And that's when I then discovered Todd Dawalt through my use of Co-Construct and started watching some of the podcasts. And the most amazing thing was, here I am thinking I live in an island and exist in this world all by myself. And I'm the only person that has all of these problems and that runs a business like this. And and then you start listening to the podcast and you're like, wait a minute, everybody's the same as me. This is not uncommon. This is the rule. That was just a gigantic moment for me, a huge light bulb that went off over my head when I realized lots and lots and lots of people around the world are trying to do what I'm doing and having the same issues, problems of just not being able to be in front of the process. That immediately led me to the SYCB program.
Oh, I'm so glad that you made your way here. One of the things that you mentioned that I think probably a lot of people would resonate with is that feeling of waking up and already feeling like you're behind. And then, probably almost immediately your phone starts ringing and you're already putting out fires. That's frustrating and exhausting. Can you tell me a little bit more about how that affected you, maybe even in your personal life, let alone in your business and professional life?
It was hard. I raised my kids through that whole phase. My wife is amazing and had, was a incredible career as a research scientist, but her job and her life was very structured and ordered. And, she knew what she was doing from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. every day. So it was really unusual and hard for her to kind of grasp, this crazy hair on fire existence that I lived in. and she kept telling me, like, dude, there's got to be a better way. Come on. The 20 years that I ran Sweet Homes during raising my kids, it was a lot to manage, but everybody experiences that, right? Mm-hmm. The effect was, I just thought it was normal, right? I was busy. I was trying to be a successful contractor. I didn't have enough time to do the things that I really wanted to do, or as much time as I wanted. But I also made time, as a self-employed person. I understood that, I can say, I'm going to my kid's soccer game at 3:00 this afternoon, mm-hmm. and see you later. And the business is going to suffer from that. So I didn't suffer from the issue of, not being able to walk away from my business when I needed to. I just didn't do it enough.
Yeah, because they probably always felt like there was the consequence of you taking that time away.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then there's the weird stuff in your head, like, well, what are the guys going to think if I take off early? And, ultimately the guys that have been with me for a long time, what they think is, man, the boss works too much.
A lot of realizations, right?
When you're in the middle of it, you think, well, I have to set this example of overworking and overproducing. And it was a long time ago I realized that, and I made a point of not setting that example. I am the child of a workaholic father who was never home, and I understand the negative implications of that.
One other thing that you said that I thought was very interesting too, which is not uncommon, is you feel like you're often on an island, right? As a construction business owner. Yeah. First of all, you're an entrepreneur, which many people in your world probably aren't. And so there's that lack of understanding between you and other folks that you know. Yeah. And then you're a construction business owner, which is kind of like its own thing too. And many times our clients do feel like that. They think they're the only ones who are dealing with this, and you're not alone in it. And yet it doesn't need to be that way, right? And so now let's fast forward a little bit to you being in the SYCB program and starting to have these light bulb moments.
Hey guys, Todd here. If you own a custom home building or remodeling business, let me ask you a few questions. First, how often do you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about project details, financial issues, or something else about your business, and you can't go back to sleep? Are you spending more than 10 hours a week working in the business, wearing multiple hats, putting out fires, and you feel like you can't work on your business as much as you want? Number 3, do you have enough documented systems and processes, or is it all in your head? Number 4, how good is your handoff of projects from the office to the field? Are you getting hammered by the just enough to start trap, doing just enough to start? And then lastly, do you feel stuck? Do you feel like you need to grow, but you're scared to, and you don't know how to do it? Maybe it feels like you need to hire, but you're afraid to make a mistake, and you're worried you can't afford to hire somebody. Well, if any of that resonates with you, you're not alone. And if you want to make your business a source of more freedom and a source of less stress, to systematize your construction business. And our team here at Construction Leading Edge has helped over 300 builders and remodelers systematize their business, and we can help you too. The first step is to schedule a call with my team by going to constructionleadingedge.com/apply. That's constructionleadingedge.com/APPLY, or you can send a text to this number, 877-755-2410 with the word apply. That's 877-755-2410. Just text the word apply and we'll get back to you. Now, let's get back to our episode.
Take me to the moment when you realized that what you were learning was going to work and it was going to help.
The entire discussion around pre-construction. And I think that the sentence that triggered the giant light bulb in my head was when Todd said, and this might've been from a podcast, maybe not directly in the program, but that any really good construction company is nothing more than a really good pre-construction company. And that was absolutely a game changer for me, because we have been what I thought was a very good construction company, and we had the absence of not only did we have a bad pre-construction process, we had the absolute absence of a pre-construction process. That is, in hindsight, even 4 months ago, I'm like, my God, what was I thinking? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so now I have really adopted, and I'm admittedly not all the way there yet, maybe halfway there, but that mentality that if I can do a incredibly good job in the pre-construction process, not that the rest is easy, but the rest will be so much easier than the way it was before.
Yes. And
So
going back to that firefighting that you mentioned and feeling
Yeah.
like you're constantly behind, having a lot of these things in place in the pre-construction alleviates so much of that. And I know you're probably already seeing some results of shifting your mindset and doing things a little bit differently. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we have a project that was, I think I was in negotiations with a client when we started the SYCB program, locked that contract down and got it set up probably in week 6 or 7 of the SYCB program. And then I'm like, whoa, this is going to be my first sort of trial run. And we weren't fully, and we still aren't fully set up in the pre-construction way I want it to be, but the results already from just taking a different approach are huge. I have a client now who's freaking out that she hasn't selected her wood floors and her cabinets yet. And normally we wouldn't have worried about that for 6 more months. But having that client motivated and having her understand how important it is to have these selections done on the front side is incredible. And the clients were so appreciative of me giving them those dates rather than what I used to do, which was, don't worry about that. We'll worry about interior doors, later. That's silly.
Yeah. They actually want parameters and boundaries, right? I think
absolutely.
It makes them feel more secure as well in this process. And you're seeing that for sure. Well, you may have already answered this, but I'm going to ask the question, what was the most impactful or beneficial thing that you learned in the program?
The importance of a solid pre-construction process.
Okay.
Unequivocally. That is gigantic. I mean, everything else was amazing, but that was and not just the understanding that it's important, but a pathway to create a system to get there. No question. And in a year from now, we're going to have another conversation. And when I can really tell you exactly how it's set up and chugging along, I expect big results.
Yeah. Well, you're already seeing great results, and I can't wait to hear the bigger results as you continue. So part of this process is inviting your team to be involved in creating it. And I know you have a pretty solid team, and I'm curious how this has impacted them now that you've invited them in and you guys have been on this trajectory of creating these solid processes.
Different reactions from different parts of the team. Some of the team was like, oh, great, you're doing a new thing that's going to make my job easier. Call me when it's done. There was a couple of guys that didn't say that, but that was sort of the feedback I was getting. And then a couple of the guys are really excited about digging in and understanding this pre-construction process. And we're about to have, although we've technically started a job without the handoff meeting, we are now getting ready. I think the excavator's been on site for a couple of days. So we're about a week and a half behind, but we're going to do our first actual pre-construction handoff meeting, nail the handoff meeting in the next week or so. And I think that will be very impactful for the guys. And I may invite more than just the superintendent and project manager for that job. I may bring a few of the other guys in and just say, hey, this is what it's going to look like when we do it on your next job.
Oh, I think that sounds great. I'm excited to continue to hear of everything and how that goes for you. Well, now I want to come back to you. Tell me how things are different for you now. How is life different?
Being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel is huge. I'm not at the end yet, but I being able to understand that there is a tunnel that I'm going to get through rather than just an ongoing infinite tunnel until I decide to quit my job. That's probably the best thing about it. And I've handed off a number of duties already, like a lot of guys in my position, right? I was project managing, I was doing the financials, I was doing all the pre-construction. I was really doing a little bit of everything. And the minute and this was like, I think week 2 or 3 of the program, I handed off all construction management, project management work. I'm like, I'm done. I can't, I'm not a very good project manager, as it turns out, but I finally just completely handed that piece off. So one of my hats went away, and that was absolutely life-changing. Because
I can imagine.
now all of a sudden and the guy that I handed it to embraced it and is absolutely crushing it, because he is an outstanding project manager, which I did not know. He was working for me more as a superintendent, and now he's just absolutely killing it on the management end, which is fabulous.
That's awesome. That's the beauty of delegation and understanding
what
you need and which seats and who's the best suited, where their strengths lie. That's fantastic.
And honestly, being able to take that time that I was spending there is now focused on training my new employee, who's just out of a local CSU, has a great construction management program. He graduated in May and he came to work for me in June, and having the time now to spend with him and train him up is awesome.
Yes. Very cool. How about your mornings? Are you still feeling like you're behind when you first wake up?
No, I wake up and go down to my home gym and work out for 45 minutes now, instead of stressing out over my 3rd cup of coffee.
So you get to have your mornings back too.
Yes, I will say
in a
that
positive way.
It is a much healthier lifestyle.
Well, I'm sure your wife and your children are appreciative of these changes as well.
Yes. Well, my kids aren't at home anymore, so they call in to find out what's going on, but yeah, all good.
Very good. Well, Eric, thank you so much. It was a pleasure and honor to get to coach you through this program and to continue to see all of these aha light bulb moments. And then really you're diving in and implementing the things that you learned right away. So thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for your time today.
Absolutely. My pleasure. It was great.
Hey, it's Todd here. And one more thing before you go. Look, if you own a construction business and you want to put the right systems in place so you can either scale it up, maybe you want to step away from it, be able to take a proper vacation, maybe you want to sell it someday, maybe you just want to have more freedom, or maybe make it more profitable, or maybe you just want to get out of constant firefighting mode and make your phone stop ringing all the time. You really have 3 options if you want to make a meaningful change in your business. Option 1 is do nothing. Status quo, keep doing the same things, getting the same results. Option 2, you can DIY it. You can do it yourself. You can reinvent the wheel. You can read books, listen to podcasts, try to piece together a solution, use trial and error. Or option number 3, if you want meaningful change, is to find a proven system that delivers the results you're looking for. Sort of like if you use software for project management or for your bookkeeping, I assume you probably didn't try to code your own software. You found a proven system that delivered the results you're looking for, right? Well, if you're looking for a proven system to systematize your business, we've helped hundreds of construction business owners implement our systems in their business, specifically our nail the handoff pre-construction process in their business. It works for home builders, remodelers, commercial general contractors. It also works really well for trade contractors like electricians, concrete contractors, site, utility, plumbing. And it's part of our Systematize Your Construction Business program. So if you want to see what systematizing your business looks like, what nailing the handoff looks like, and the positive side effects that come with that, then the next step would be to schedule a free business evaluation call with my team. And you could do that by going to constructionleadingedge.com/apply, APPLY, or just go to our website, constructionleadingedge.com, and tap the Apply Now button. You'll learn about the 5-step process we've helped hundreds of people implement to systematize their construction business. Most importantly, you'll get an objective third-party evaluation of your business to answer one Really big question. Is your business designed to fail, or is it designed to succeed? So let me ask you this. If your business was unintentionally designed to fail, when would you rather find out? Now, while there's time to do something about it, or later on when it's maybe too late? This business evaluation call is totally free. There are no strings attached, no pressure. And it could be the best hour you've spent working on your business in a long time. So our schedule fills up pretty quickly. So if you're interested, go over to constructionleadingedge.com/apply, or go to constructionleadingedge.com and tap the Apply Now button to book your business evaluation call. Hey, thanks for listening. I hope you got value out of this podcast. If you could take a moment, if you did, and leave a rating or a review or share this with somebody who needs to hear it, I would appreciate it. Todd Dawalt from Construction Leading Edge. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.